Fatal pedestrian collision.
We're stitching together the beautiful story that was and continues to be Dwayne Elliot.
Mourning a community activist. Must-do safety checklist.
The smoke was very thick. We couldn't see. It was very scary.
Keep you and your family safe as cooler temperatures approach. And Canadian steel controversy.
Our pipe piles are in the Gordie Howe Bridge. I'm pretty sure if they're good enough for the Gordie Howe Bridge, they're good enough for the Banwell overpass.
Steel tycoon Barry Zeckelman defends his business decisions after Premier Doug Ford lashes out at the Harrow native.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on television and radio. If you've been waiting to cross the new Gordie Howe International Bridge, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Let's go straight to CTV's Sanjay Maro to explain. Sanjay.
Yeah, Stephanie, we're learning today that construction on the bridge is still expected to wrap up this year, but officials now say the first vehicles will not roll across until early 2026. Officials are not attributing the delay to a single issue, rather just the reality of making sure every system is working exactly as it should before the gates open. We do know, however, that the decision to delay the bridge opening was made over the last couple weeks. Testing and commissioning are still underway across all parts of the project, from the bridge deck to the ports of entry. That includes toll systems, overhead lane signage, and programmable lighting. Officials say each round of testing can reveal small tweaks that need to be corrected and retested. They emphasize the goal is a safe and smooth launch with no compromises on security or efficiency.
What do the symbols look like that go over the bridge? We will have some lanes that are dedicated for trucks, some lanes that are dedicated for cars, some lanes dedicated for people who are account holders. So just going through the process of designing those symbols, which again seems like something that's very easy. Well, we've tested the colors, we've looked at them at night, during the day, on foggy days or on more sunny days, to make sure they're perfectly legible. And that's just signage.
No exact date for the opening has been set. We're just hearing early 2026 for now. Officials say the actual construction of the bridge sits around 98% complete, and they'll share more details on an exact opening timeline once testing is complete and the bridge is ready for its first drivers to cross.
There are so many working parts here in order for all this to come together on time. I still think there's just so much excitement about its opening.
So much excitement, Stephanie, but also a lot of questions surrounding the ongoing trade war. Will we see the same number of people that perhaps would have crossed on day one had we would have if this trade war wasn't in effect? So a lot of things to watch out for as we enter now early 2026.
Okay, Sanjay Maro with our top story tonight. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you.
In other news, a pedestrian has been killed on Windsor's West End. Police say the victim was struck not once, but twice on Sunday night. Tonight, CTV News has learned the identity of the victim. And as CTV's Bob Belichico reports, the community is coming together. And through shared memories, they're stitching a lasting tribute to the man they lost.
The whole tragic accident is just sad.
Windsor police say a 62-year-old man was struck by two cars while crossing Sandwich Street shortly after 8 p.m. Sunday night. The man was transported to hospital where he died from his injuries. CTV has learned that the victim is Dwayne Elliot, brother of former city councillor John Elliot.
On behalf of the family, as the older brother, we appreciate everyone's condolences to the family. It's tough.
Police continued their investigation as many mourn the loss of a man who touched the lives from near and far. He saved many lives, she said. Kima was home for Thanksgiving. According to Elliot, his younger brother, a former Windsor firefighter, has been living in Alberta the last few years and worked as a teacher while returning to fight fires. He described his younger sibling as a community activist in tune with history. Kima was a coach, a firefighter, an artist, an athlete, and a writer who recently released a book featuring Windsor's West End.
He was worldly, man. He was into everything, and he was one of those types, and he left his mark, man, that he was here for sure.
City Councillor Kieran McKenzie says Elliot brought action with his kind soul.
He stood with people when they needed people to stand with them, and I witnessed it. I was a part of it in some instances. I was affected by it, and I changed or affected things as a result of his own activism.
Members of the music scene held an open mic in Elliot's memory last night. A tribute is being held tonight at Cafe Amor.
We're existing in a moment right now where everybody is taking their piece of Kim, their piece of legacy, and they're bringing it to the table. And we're reflecting and we're sharing and we're stitching together the beautiful story that was and continues to be Kim, Dwayne, Elliot.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Windsor police held a ride program over the weekend. Out of 251 vehicles they stopped, just one roadside test was administered and a 3-day license suspension handed out. 98 tickets in total were issued for speeding, distracted driving and other offenses. Police thank motorists for making the responsible choice and driving sober. Meantime, in Lakeshore, the OPP has laid charges after a resident allegedly drove a golf cart while intoxicated. You may recall golf carts were recently legalized, but only in Lighthouse Cove and on Pelee Island. The cart was stopped by an officer on Monday night on Cali Avenue. A 48-year-old was charged with impaired driving, unlawful operation of a vehicle, and driving the vehicle without insurance or a permit. Windsor police, meanwhile, have released surveillance video of a suspect wanted for arson. Police releasing this 17-second video this morning. This person is wanted in connection with an arson investigation at a business on Tecumseh Road at Alexis Road. It happened Monday morning around 10 a.m. Firefighters found an accelerant near the scene, so police have taken over this investigation. No one was hurt, but the fire did cause $175,000 in damage to the building and neighboring businesses. The suspect is described as a middle-aged man with a large build and slightly above average in height. At the time of the incident, he was wearing dark clothing, including a jacket, pants, and running shoes. Police are asking residents who live in the area to check their home security cameras for possible evidence anytime between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Monday. A.m. A scary scene at a convenience store in Leamington last Friday. Surveillance cameras inside a local dairy mart catching the moment an SUV drives through the front window. According to the store owner, no one was injured in this incident. There's no estimate on the cost to fix the building. CTV News has reached out to the OPP for more details. Now, CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me with our first look at the weather. And Gary, many of us enjoying the Thanksgiving long weekend weather. It was lovely to be outside. Breezy this evening, though.
Still breezy tonight, and we anticipate the winds to strengthen as we head towards 10 p.m. Beautiful colors in part across the region, and we will get cooler, which will further enhance that change, which is underway. We do have a system working its way through Wisconsin, headed towards Michigan. Eventually will arrive tomorrow morning here in southwestern Ontario. Light rains anticipated and cooler temperatures as we head towards the overnight. I'll break down what you need to know just ahead. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk.
And as temperatures drop, many people are turning on their furnaces for the first time this season. But experts say a little preparation can go a very long way in preventing a dangerous situation. CTV's Chris Campbell has the story and joins us tonight. Chris.
Yes, Stefanie, it's a reminder that what seems like a routine part of fall can quickly become a safety scare if your furnace isn't in good working order, something June Muir experienced firsthand over the weekend.
Longtime community advocate June Muir turned on her furnace Sunday morning, expecting her home would warm up.
So I turned the furnace on and I went back to bed. And the next thing I knew, the smoke alarms were going off, and I said to Bill, we got to get out of here.
Windsor fire crews arrived within minutes and determined the cause was likely a burned out furnace motor. No fire, but plenty of smoke.
The smoke was very thick. We couldn't see. It was very scary to wake up and see your house full of smoke.
It was scary in the sense that you know there's something wrong with your house.
Heating experts say before switching on your furnace for the first time each fall, it's important to check and replace filters, clear vents, and have your system inspected by a professional.
Have a company come out, clean it out, take a look at it, make sure it's good to go before you fire that on. They'll fire that on when they come out to get that up and running for you, just to make sure that everything is running. This avoids, any mishaps happening, anything, like a fire starting or things like that.
And fire officials say this time of year is also a good reminder to test smoke and carbon monoxide alarms throughout your home, noting that in 2026, the law will require each floor to have one.
Try the system maybe before you go to bed. Try that in the morning, turn the heat on, get the system running so you're awake, and that if there is any issues with that system, you can probably get that before you go to bed at night.
We even called our daughter who lives in the U.S., and we found out that she actually only has one smoke detector in a 3-story house. So we sent the funds over for her to buy 2 more smoke detectors.
June Muir says she's grateful her alarms did their job and hopes her story prompts others to take precautions.
Check your smoke alarms out, make sure they're working, and before you turn the furnace on, make sure you're going to be home for a while, make sure everything is working, and that you don't leave and just turn your furnace on and go out the door.
Experts say furnaces should be inspected at least once a year, ideally before the first cold snap. They also recommend replacing your furnace filter every 1 to 3 months during heating season. And another reminder, if you hear or smell something unusual when your furnace starts up, turn it off and call a professional right away. Stefanie?
Essential safety tips. Okay, Chris Campbell tonight, thank you for this. So this is our question of the day. Do you service your furnace before turning it on for the colder months? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked, are you in favor of a permanent national school food program? Out of more than 1,300 votes, 71% say yes. The deputy mayor of Tecumseh wants to ban parking near a busy intersection. Joe Becchetti is expected to present a notice of motion asking to have on-street parking banned on Tecumseh near L'Esperance. He wants to alleviate some of the traffic congestions on Tecumseh made worse by all the construction on neighboring roads, including East Row Expressway. Becchetti says as part of the Main Street beautification efforts, they added more on-street parking a few years ago, but that's having an impact as drivers try to avoid some current construction projects.
Whenever there's construction taking place, for example, on County Road 22, a lot of vehicles are taking our main street, and the traffic lineups are long, and the queues go back all the way to Southfield. And so, we've had a lot of complaints.
Premier Doug Ford is tonight pushing back on the head of Zekelman Industries, calling out the province for Canada's reliance on imported steel.
And every time I hear that hammer hit, it's like driving a stake in my heart and in my gut.
Steel tycoon Barry Zekelman rallied on Friday at the intersection of EC Row and Banwell with roughly 36 steel workers and union leaders. He's upset the I-beams used on the project were imported from South Korea. Zekelman said choices like this ultimately erode domestic jobs and national pride. In a statement sent to CTV News, Ontario Premier Doug Ford pushed back over the weekend, saying in part, instead of standing up for Ontario's world-class steel industry in the face of President Trump's tariffs, Mr. Zekelman has repeatedly turned his back on steel workers. He goes on to say in 2018, he said he wished Trump's tariffs on steel were higher. Zekelman, in turn, is punching back today against Ford.
There is no single company or person in Canada who has stood up and fought harder for Canadian steel and, by the way, buys more Canadian steel than me. And for them to throw out, something that I support Trump's tariffs and wish they were higher, absolutely I wish they were higher. I wish Canadian tariffs were higher. I've been advocating for that. I would love to see the tariffs go away between Canada and the U.S., but they absolutely will not go away until Canada closes its back door and then is not perceived as a threat to the U.S. by then shipping their excess steel, which has been displaced by other imports coming into Canada.
Now, this back and forth also includes the city of Windsor. We've posted all of these stories today in one handy article. You'll find it at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump's latest round of tariffs went into effect today. As of today, softwood lumber and timber products are subject to a 10% tariff. Upholstered wooden furniture, kitchen cabinets, and vanities will be hit with a 25% levy. Some of those tariffs are also set to rise on January 1st, as high as 50% for kitchen cabinets and vanities. The United States imports the majority of its lumber from Canada, and economists have warned the new tariffs will increase the cost of building or renovating homes, with prices of building materials already 34% higher than they were in December of 2020. Fine dining and a murder mystery are in store for a special charity dinner this weekend. Windsor-based Stigma Enigma is hosting its annual Mingle for Merivale, a delicious 5-course meal by Spagos and an interactive murder mystery are on the tap for a fun night for a good community cause. The event will be held on Saturday, October 18th at St. Angela's Hall. It's a vital fundraiser that will continue to support the financial needs of the school that is dedicated to helping students who are dealing with mental health challenges such as depression and suicidal ideation.
Because of our community stepping forward, we're now into our 11th year. We've been able to donate directly over $1 million to Merivale, and the best thing about that is it's shortened their waiting list. At one time, they had about 200 kids, adolescents, waiting for mental health care, and some of them were at very high risk, and now their waiting list is minimal.
Coming up on CTV News at 6, can peace take hold in Gaza as families continue to be reunited with loved ones? And then later, elbows up. Not only good for patriotic pride, but now it's making the tourism season last even longer. The ceasefire in Gaza is holding, but there's uncertainty over next steps as Hamas has yet to deliver the remains of 24 hostages and is reportedly regrouping military. CTV senior correspondent Heather Wright is in Tel Aviv with more on today's developments.
An emotional and painful homecoming as the remains of 4 deceased hostages arrive at the Forensic Institute for Identification in Tel Aviv.
Learning we're only getting 4 of them was a big kick in the stomach.
Rotem Cooper's father, Amiram, was 85 years old when he was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th. He was killed in captivity. His body is still in Gaza. Families were aware that all 28 deceased hostages would not be returned yesterday, but they hoped they would be able to give more proper burials.
It's very clear that Hamas is playing games, that Hamas is not really cooperating, is not really in good faith.
Hamas has said it will take time to find all the bodies as they aren't sure where they are all located. Late tonight, Israel announced Hamas would release more remains, their identities not yet known. In response to the delay, Israel said today it will delay the reopening of the Rafah border crossing into Gaza and reduce the amount of aid allowed in. By how much and for how long is not clear. In Gaza City, bulldozers cleared piles of rubble today, a first step in allowing people to return. But with limited equipment and an estimated 84% of the enclave destroyed, according to the UN, it will be a lengthy process.
We don't have enough equipment, enough loaders or bulldozers to carry out this work.
As Gaza begins to rebuild, questions remain about the durability of this ceasefire and the future of the enclave where Hamas has been trying to reassert itself in recent days. This video, reportedly taken in Gaza City, shows Hamas fighters rounding up several men in a circle and shooting them.
The bottom line is this really a peace deal, or is this only a hostage release deal plus a temporary ceasefire? It's still unclear, but I'm fearful that it's more the latter than the former.
Today, the United Nations put a price tag on how much it will cost to rebuild the enclave. $70 billion, with at least $20 billion needed over the next 3 years. Heather Wright, CTV News, Tel Aviv.
In Bangladesh, more than a dozen people are dead after a fire swept through a garment factory and chemical warehouse. The fire broke out in a 7-story building in the capital, Dhaka. Officials say 16 bodies have been recovered, but they warn the number of deaths could rise. The cause of the fire is not yet known, but similar disasters occur frequently in Bangladesh. The worst claimed more than 1,100 lives in 2013. In Toronto, 7 people were taken to hospital after a natural gas explosion at a North York construction site. 4 of the people hurt have critical injuries, according to fire officials. Toronto Fire told CTV News that the reported blast occurred in the penthouse mechanical room on the 22nd floor of the building. All of the injured parties were workers.
I don't know. We heard on the radio that there was a big explosion. One of our guys was up there. His name's Peter. He seems to be doing okay compared to some of the other people, but yeah, it's not good.
Well, I'm a handyman. I was working on the lower floors, and actually we just got a call to evacuate the building. And from what I know, I think there was a natural gas explosion in Building C up in the mechanical penthouse, which is on the roof. And I heard some people got badly burnt. That's about all I know at the time.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, but it's all right. I'm pretty chill with it right now. Just processing everything.
To the U.S. now, where Homeland Security Secretary says Coast Guard members will get paid during the government shutdown. According to the Secretary, the DHS has found a, quote, innovative solution to provide the money. However, a department spokesperson did not provide NBC News with details on the solution or where the funds would come from. The announcement comes 2 days after President Donald Trump said he would direct the Defense Department to pay military members tomorrow. That's despite the fact the majority of government workers are not getting paid during the federal funding lapse. The White House Office of Management and Budget confirmed that it plans to use research and development funds to deliver paychecks to military service members this week. Now, tourism in Canada is on the rise with a dramatic increase in domestic travel this year. What used to be a summer industry in many parts of the country is now lasting more than 6 months. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has the details.
2 massive cruise ships docked in Halifax, delivering thousands of visitors. Some of them are retired, catching up on lost vacation time.
Now we can go whenever we'd like to.
Enjoying the freedom to visit new places.
We are interested in traveling fall, spring.
They arrive at a time when the tourism season in Canada has expanded in recent years.
You had a 10-week season, and now we've seen it grown to 6 months.
It begins in April and continues into November. Next week, almost 12,000 cruise ship passengers will arrive in Halifax in one day, and not just a steady flow of U.S. visitors.
It is a common theme that a lot of people within Canada are spending money within Canada.
A new poll shows a combined 80% of Canadians believe boycotting U.S.-made goods or travel south of the border would help Canada's bargaining position with the U.S. An increase in domestic travel comes at a time when those numbers were already on the rise. Last year in Nova Scotia, 31% of visitors were from Ontario. The official numbers for this season are not in yet, but Sean Buckland says it's clear Canadians, more than ever, are spending their tourist dollars within the country.
We hear the same statement that they've decided not to go south this summer and they've decided to come east.
And provide steady business for an industry that continues to expand into non-summer seasons. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Canada Post mail delivery resumed today, with workers returning to the job this week as the union shifts from a nationwide strike to rotating walkouts. The strike began September 25th, the second in less than a year, after the federal government announced plans to restructure Canada Post, which is on track to lose $1.5 billion this year. The restructuring includes ending door-to-door delivery. Canada's main stock index was up on gains in the base metal sector. In Toronto, the TSX gained 503 points. In New York, the Dow added 203, the Nasdaq fell 173. The Canadian dollar lost a quarter cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $30 an ounce, oil dropped 79 cents a barrel. Still to come in our newscast, a Windsor family has much to be grateful for, receiving the keys to their new Habitat home.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Jimmy Thomas for this lovely scenic. If you've got a weather image, text it to us at 10400. We'll talk cool temperatures and the chance of rain coming tomorrow morning. Next on CTV News Windsor.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Tonight, beer from Canada filled with methamphetamine.
It was very confined. I could barely walk around.
An innocent young man dead.
He was screaming out, "I'm dying, I want mom. I'm dying, I want mom."
W5 investigates a sophisticated Canadian meth pipeline.
Just this tonnage coming away out of Canada.
How criminals here are getting away with it.
He's obviously trying to lose us.
Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
Sunshine with a light breeze out there earlier today. Temperatures are expected to cool down with possible showers in the forecast. Gary joins me again for the full details. Gary.
If we do see rain through the overnight, early tomorrow, technically before dawn, sometime between 4 and 5 a.m., starting to see some of this disturbance moving through southwestern Ontario. I don't think it will be a long-lasting event, nor a very intense one. Today was indeed beautiful, mostly sunny, a beautiful blue sky, and a temperature 6 degrees above seasonal, reaching 22. Our average is 16. And of course, we anticipate things to get cooler over the next several weeks. Par for the course. It is the season of autumn, but we're enjoying this mild streak. 3 on the AQI. That's good. The lower the number in terms of the air quality index, rated from 1 to 10, the better. And that's a good streak continuing from last week. 20 degrees at the airport, increasing cloudiness, a mixture of sun and cloud. In Windsor, that's 68 Fahrenheit. Same statistics in Chatham-Kent, 20 and 68, and increasing cloudiness. The prairies have certainly cooled off. Calgary's at 4 degrees, while we're in the low 20s. 7 in Regina, Winnipeg, our friends there at 6. So you get an idea where some of the cold air is situated in our country and where it's going to be coming from. Yes, the west and northwest over the next few days. We've been breezy today, and we'll get breezier tonight with gusts in that 30 to 40 range likely through 10, 11 p.m. So what about this cooler air? Well, it's well entrenched across the prairies and U.S. Central Plains. The wind direction profile, if you will, is drawing with jet stream support west and northwest, which will eventually draw it right across the lower Great Lakes. We're in the clear for now, but we'll see increasing cloudiness as I speak. And into tomorrow, there's your clip of showers between about 4 and 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then a break. But this break will be a cool one. By the way, the overnight temperature is down to 9 degrees Celsius before we see sunrise, so definitely more seasonal. The rainfall tally's projected less than 5 millimeters. Some of you won't even notice much of it. You'll be asleep or just getting up. Take a look at our Enercare 7-day forecast. Calling for morning showers, very light if we see it. 17 in the afternoon, mostly cloud. Fair weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 17, 19, 21, and then 16s apiece. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with cloudiness. The story might even see a shower Sunday afternoon. Let's look at your weather.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Wait times for an MRI are improving at Erie Shores Healthcare. The permanent MRI suite now operates 16 hours a day. Staff can see around 500 patients every month. That means waits have dropped from a year down to approximately 6 months for an MRI in Leamington. Officials say initially they ramped up to ease the backlog at Windsor Regional, but now all providers across the region can refer to Erie Shores for an MRI. A Windsor mother and daughter spent their Thanksgiving weekend moving. Through Habitat for Humanity, Lisa Romanek and her daughter Zoe received the keys to their new Bruce Avenue home. They are the third family for the home built through the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project.
Congratulations to you. Welcome home.
It's a small apartment. It's not, you can't really move around too much. There's not that much space, and it's just, to be able to have the space now, a yard, we can actually have friends over. To know that she's happy, she's excited, and it's just to watch her inside looking around, smiling, from ear to ear, to know how happy she is.
So the amazing thing of this house is it has actually housed 3 single moms with a disabled child. So just an amazing legacy. We believe that home ownership is transformational, so the opportunity to build equity and generational wealth stops poverty in its tracks. And I think that's core.
So I told her, I said, we'll be able to hand out candy for the kids, and then Christmas is right around the corner, so we'll be able to have people over for Christmas. It'll be great. This will be our first Christmas here, and then we can have family over again and friends and celebrate the holidays.
Instagram is augmenting their parental controls. In a new announcement by Meta, kids using teen-specific accounts will see photos and videos on Instagram that are similar to what they would see in a PG-13 movie. Anyone under 18 who signs up for Instagram is automatically placed into restrictive teen accounts unless a parent or guardian gives them permission to opt out. For parents who want an even stricter setting for their kids, Meta is also launching a limited content restriction that will block more content and remove teens' ability to see, leave, or receive comments under posts. Canadian Tire says some customer information was involved in a recent data breach. The retailer says the breached information belongs to shoppers who had an e-commerce account with Canadian Tire or its other banners, including Sports Check, Marks, and Party City. The data included names, email addresses, and in some cases, incomplete credit card numbers. The company says the information is not enough to access accounts and make purchases. The vulnerability was first identified on October 2nd, and the company says it's working with experts to enhance its security. Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, spinning old school, the growing trend of vinyl over streaming.
5K a day is back on 93.9
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Hannah and Johnny in the morning for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Music fanatics turned back the clock this weekend. Lovers of vinyl records had their pick at a Windsor show that brings together sellers from across southwestern Ontario. It's part of a bigger trend of people choosing the old school listening versus digital streaming.
Vinyl is probably the most inconvenient format that there is because you got to get up every 20 minutes and switch sides, whereas you put a CD on and let it go. You can put it on repeat and play all day long. But it's something about the vinyl record. You've got a big package, a 12-inch package with sometimes you got posters, books inside. There's a lot of extra stuff in there. Some right there. Yeah, there's a bunch there. More people got into vinyl, back into vinyl, and so now it's not just old guys like me wanting vinyl. It's anybody from 18 on up, and new bands too are issuing stuff on vinyl. It's not just the old stuff anymore.
It's still going pretty strong. The people that are into records and vinyl are
their fans. So they're gonna be at these shows looking for that hard to find, that piece to add to the puzzle that completes their collection. You'll see the diehards, like the guys like myself, that are a little older, that are looking at their to add that gem to their collection. But we see a lot of new folks that are just starting to get into it.
The wholesale prices on records have gone up because they don't mass produce them like they did back in the 70s and 80s. It's small plants that are doing it, and the prices of vinyl, new vinyl, has gone to a point now where I think it's becoming more prohibitive.
It is a highly esteemed distinction, and this year a Canadian is one of 3 researchers to be recognized as a winner of the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics. CTV's Jeremy Sharon has more.
Inside the Royal Swedish Academy of Science in Stockholm, a highly prestigious honor.
Philippa Guion and Peter Howitt.
This year's Nobel Prize for Economics awarded to 3 researchers, including Canadian Peter Howitt.
It's hard to express how I feel right now. I'm just thrilled and still somewhat in shock.
Recognized for his role in mathematically explaining creative destruction, an economic concept where new innovations replace older technologies and businesses. Howitt is from Guelph, Ontario, studied at Western and McGill universities, and is now a professor at Brown University in Rhode Island.
Working in Canada was where I really cut my teeth as an economist. The atmosphere at Western University was the one that really taught me how to be a productive scholar.
In a social media post, Prime Minister Mark Carney congratulated him for his lifetime of path-breaking research, adding that his work is a foremost example of Canadian ideas having global impact.
It's an inspiration for everybody in Canada.
This Queen's University economist says Howitt's work was foundational.
I think they've planted some very useful thoughts in our mind that growth is not a smooth, straight line.
Peter Howitt becomes just the 5th Canadian Nobel laureate to be recognized in the category of economics. Jeremy Sharon, CTV News, Ottawa.
There wasn't much to celebrate this past weekend for Canada's baseball team. The Toronto Blue Jays are losing their best of 7 American League Championship Series 2-0. The Jays lost Sunday and Monday nights at home against the Mariners. They're on the road now, heading to Seattle for the next 2 games. Jays fans are split about the Birds' chances in this series.
It was not fun at all. I can watch it from my balcony, and I did. And by the time it was 9-1, I'd had enough. I went to bed.
You expect a lot more out of the bullpen, and with Vladdy being as good as he was in the division series, we were hoping that he'd be a little better in the championship.
Well, it's a little depressing, but I think we can go on the road to Seattle. We travel well in Seattle. A lot of Canadian fans there, so hopefully get 2 out of 3, come home and finish it off here.
Do you have a good sports story for us? Text us your big wins or stellar highlights at 10400.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. You're invited to the Do Good Divas annual A Girls' Night Out in Handbag Heaven. Proceeds benefit the Habitat for Humanity Windsor Essex. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Kate Otterbein. And Kate, back to the use of that South Korean steel being used to make the Banwell Road overpass.
That's right. Despite the back and forth between steel tycoon Barry Zackelman and Doug Ford, it was the decision by the City of Windsor to use that foreign company. City officials say the steel H piles for the Banwell project were purchased through Canadian distributors but made overseas, as that, quote, specific type of steel isn't manufactured domestically. Zackelman argues they are no longer produced in Canada because they got chased out by foreign imports. He adds there is an alternative.
But there is 100% substitutable product, which is pipe piles, which is made by our company and others, which is subsourced by Canadian steel. So it's all Canadian coil made into pipe piles that can go into the foundation of that bridge. And for them to say that that isn't an appropriate substitute is ridiculous. Our pipe piles are in the Gordie Howe Bridge. I'm pretty sure if they're good enough for the Gordie Howe Bridge, they're good enough for the Banwell overpass.
We posted more of Barry Zackelman's reaction and the Premier's entire statement to our website at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
That frustration between both countries continues. However, both Canadians and Americans will meet this Sunday. Very excited for the Detroit Free Press Marathon, and there are some road restrictions.
Yes, this is a very highly anticipated event. So if you are going to cross the border on Sunday, note that the Windsor-Detroit tunnel will be closed. The closure starts at 6:30 in the morning, reopening at 10:30 a.m. The tunnel will also be one of 5 designated cheer zones in Windsor. The Ambassador Bridge will have some lane restrictions from 6 to 9 a.m., but will still be open in both directions. A full map of the marathon route can be found online. And in our social spotlight tonight, when you think of a dog, you might think of a guard dog, one that will stop a thief. But with this adorable crook, you never know what might go missing.
Duke is a thief.
Dukey, honey, you can't have that.
We never know how often.
Duke? Oh boy.
Duke the Golden likes bringing household items to his bed at night. If he sees something like a whiteboard or his mom's purse, it might just be his next cuddle buddy. His owners believe the stealing senior does it for security after being rehomed multiple times, and they wouldn't change a thing. My boyfriend's dog Stella actually does this. She takes slippers when she's home alone for a little extra emotional support, and I just think it's the sweetest way to show love.
I didn't know this was a thing, but is it because maybe the smell of the owner? Is that exactly what it is?
Yes, I think that is much of the reason, especially in Stella's case. She loves to have that smell close. Although I'm not sure whiteboard smells like your owner.
You're absolutely right. Maybe, I don't know, the scent of the writing,
Maybe.
or who knows. Trending video. If people have some at home, how can they send it to us?
Yes, you can email that at newsnow@bellmedia.ca, or you can text it to 10400.
Now it is migration season. Essex County isn't the only hot spot for birders. Stay with us. Coming up, we'll take you to another popular Canadian stop on the route.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
Those colors, Gary, are gorgeous.
Beautiful colors. As temperatures start to fall even more, we'll start to see that transformation taking place. There's still quite a bit of green out there, so something to look forward to. We've been mild of late, a beautiful long weekend. And temperatures well above seasonal today, 22. Our average high is closer to 16, but we'll be closer to that mark tomorrow. Morning showers possible on a cloudy day. The afternoon looks better, 17, followed by 17 Thursday and Friday. Both Thursday and Friday, fair weather days, a mixture of sun and cloud. Saturday up to 21, a fair weather day. Possible showers on Sunday, about a 60% chance, and cooling off 16, and then 16 on Monday, 16 on Tuesday, 16 again, the magical number at this time of the year, seasonal.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Sanjay Maru is on our late newscast for the entire week, and Robert is out and about for us tonight.
Yeah, busy night for Robert and for councillors in the area tonight. We've sent our Robert Lothian out to Amherstburg Town Council. A few big topics are on the in-camera agenda, including the fate of the Diageo factory and what to do about policing. Also meeting tonight, as previously mentioned, is Tecumseh Council. We're hoping for an update on that Tecumseh Road parking idea. We'll try to get some answers and some updates on those key items tonight at 11.
Drivers will be eager to hear the answer on
definitely.
that. Okay, birding, as you know, very popular here in Essex County, but did you know it's also very popular in Saskatchewan? As CTV's Alison Bamford reports, birders out there are noticing a trend in the flocks flying in the sky.
Saw some ring-billed gulls on the river as well.
On any given fall day, Stan Shattuck can spot dozens of different bird species while walking along the South Saskatchewan River.
The fall is probably the busiest time of the year.
Shattuck's fascination for birding began at 6 years old, but what he sees through his binoculars now is quite different from decades ago.
When I was in high school, I would see maybe up to 1,000 warblers on a really good day. but nowadays probably that's reduced to only 10% of the numbers we used to see.
Bird populations are changing. Stats from Birds Canada show waterfowl and birds of prey are up significantly since 1970, largely due to conservation measures, while grassland birds have declined 67%.
Grassland birds thrive on natural grasslands, and due to land use changes, specifically agriculture, for example, and urbanization, we're losing those grasslands.
Habitat loss along with climate change can be major threats to bird migration and breeding, which makes protected lands like Last Mountain Lake Migratory Bird Sanctuary crucial for survival, serving as a home for some birds and a pit stop for millions of others during migration season.
This might just be the convenient spot that they came through, or a place that they stopped last migration, or maybe they were hatched here and they're coming back.
Saskatchewan sits under the Central Flyway, a major North American migration route, which means birders like Shattuck have some of the best seats this time of year.
Always something is changing.
And all he has to do is look for it. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Those statistics we just heard, they're very concerning. That's why these bird sanctuaries are so essential.
Yeah, I agree. And Pele is such an important part of our community. That's why we need to protect it always.
But thank goodness for those birding experts. There are few people I find as passionate about anything as those individuals who are there every day with the binoculars. It's amazing stuff.
Exactly. Okay. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And I'll be back with your only late local newscast at 11.
Good night.
Good night.